and welcome to the final edition of Fantasy Stockball with New Level Investment Management LLC. Thanks for hanging around with us all season long, getting some stock tips. I hope you learned something. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to switch things up just a little bit this time. Instead of picking a team to win the big game, I'm going to let players play, coaches coach, and owners own, and we're going to let the chips fall where they may. No prediction as far as the team, which team is going to win. I'm going to give an example or pair each team up with the stock that I think kind of meets their profile. But if I had to bet, I would probably go with Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Even though Peyton has that resume of winning a big game, but also losing a big game with a crucial interception, I just think it's his year. And I'm not sold on Seattle going away from Seattle and that 12th man and that home crowd advantage. So I'm kind of not sold on it. Although I think it's going to be a really competitive game. I can make cases for both teams, but I'm going to leave you with this. Whichever team can get the home jersey, which is the dark color jerseys. Both teams like to wear dark colors at home. Whichever, I think it's based on record. I think both teams are tied at 13-3 as far as the record. So I'm not sure who's going to get it, but whoever gets it, I think is going to win. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to start off with Seattle, and I paired them up with the international stock. And the reason why I've done that is because, well, it's an international stock. It's a Chinese stock, and most of you, or all of you, have probably never even heard of this company. And it's the same thing with Seattle, right? They don't have a rich history of winning. They just started, coming around and getting in public eye. They went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but no one remembers that team. So same thing with this stock. It's called C-Trip. Their stock symbol is CTRP, and they're trading around $39.51. And it's an online reservation company. So think of Priceline, Expedia, Orbitz, and that's what you get in China. The reason why I like this stock, from a valuation standpoint, it's a little, it could be better. Their forward price earning ratio is around 32. Their growth rate is around 24. So you would really like those numbers to be reversed. But I think that because China is, their economy is slowing down slightly, but it's still massive. There's little competition for C-Trip in this space, right? There's a couple of companies out there, but this by far is the biggest one. I actually spoke with my former colleague. She lives in China. She's from China. She said this company's everywhere. They're doing a lot of advertising, and that has to be true because on their income statement, they're spending a lot of money in research, development, and advertising. However, their balance sheet looks great. They have little debt. They have a lot of cash to pay off any little debt they have. So if they get into financial troubles, they have a bunch of cash to pay it off. The revenues have been growing every year consistently. Their retained earnings are nice. So I kind of like this company. It's a growth stock. So their valuation is not going to be, you're not going to get a deep discount for this company, but it is a growth stock. Probably predicting this stock to reach about 50 year end, maybe 55. So that's why we like that comparison with Seattle. Moving on, we're going to go with Denver. And of course Denver, and Qualcomm. And we're not talking Qualcomm Stadium, that's San Diego. Remember, they lost, they're out of there. This is Denver here. Qualcomm is a company, if you're a little bit older, you may remember this company doing a lot of handsets. They were a hardware company producing a lot of cell phones at the time. But they have since moved on. They let the cell phone hardware game to the professionals, that's Apple and Samsung. And now they're in the chip business. So guess what? You may not see this company, go to a store and see their name everywhere, but it's definitely in your phone. If you have an Apple phone, iPhone, or a Samsung phone, you're using the chip, the processor, to make that phone work. And it's in all Apple phones, all Samsung phones. So while you're screaming Team iPhone and Team Samsung, they're screaming Team Money because whatever phone sells, they get paid. And so it's not really a growth company. It's been around just like the Broncos. They've got a couple of Super Bowls. Of course, Peyton Manning. So the history is there. So Qualcomm history is there as well. But what I will tell you is their forward price earning ratio is about 13. Their growth rate is around 16. So those numbers are pretty good. It's not a growth stock. But from a valuation standpoint, it looks really good. Balance sheet is great. Ton of cash on the balance sheet. Ton of retained earnings. And there's really not a lot of competition. Intel is trying to move in a little bit, but there's not a lot of competition for Qualcomm. They're also in tablets as well. So that's it for us. I just want to say I thank you guys for tuning in each episode that we've produced. If you're probably watching this video, it's on Facebook. So encourage your friends and family to like us on Facebook. Also visit our website at newlevelinvestment.com. Telephone numbers there, 202-524-0249. And just keep, showing your support and make sure you invest. That's the key. That's why we're doing this videos, to get people to invest and kind of bring a new perspective to investing, because it is about your financial futures. You want to take hold of that. Don't leave it to chance. You want to, make sure you're on top of that. New Level Investment Management, LLC. And I didn't wear orange for the Broncos. Okay, that was just a coincidence. Have a good one.